Shalom, family. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Well, we're going to talk about the real estate scam that Somalians were doing in Minnesota, where they were using these properties as, and saying they were being used to feed hungry people and all this stuff. And they really weren't using it for that purpose. And, even some of the buildings they were purchasing with money they got from fraud were empty. And when inspectors showed up, they were feeding hundreds or thousands of kids per day, and the buildings were empty. There were no children around. So we're going to look at that, and they get busted and everything. I mean, these people. The funny part is they're still getting on videos saying that people are jealous of them. I'm like, you committed scams to get millions and billions of dollars. Nobody is jealous of a scammer. And plus, what kind of scammer are you anyway? You got caught. So, no, nobody's jealous of that. But that's what they're going around and trying to say. All right. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you.
These Somali scams in Minnesota don't stop. First, it was fake diagnosing kids with autism. Now they're literally leaving people out in the cold homeless. Look at this.
Asad Adow, owner of Leo Human Services, admitted in court that his company ripped off taxpayers to the tune of $2.7 million, falsely claiming to help 250 people find housing.
How many vulnerable people did you leave sitting in a snowbank so you could line your own pockets?
It's not the first time Mr. Adow did not want to answer our questions.
People say you're not doing work, that you're billing thousands of dollars for work that's not being done.
Come on, man. Let's see the proper channels, man. I'm doing everything I am correctly.
Carol Levin Investigates first approached the BMW driving business owner last spring as we uncovered clients' claims of forged signatures and fraudulent billing.
I did not sign this legal document.
How would you describe that $14,000 that was billed to your Medicaid?
Fraud on every level.
Bro rolling in a Beamer with no remorse while he's scamming Medicaid and the taxpayers. They're facing 45 years, but I feel like the property that they have over there in Kenya, it needs to be seized and so auctioned off. He probably just gave it to a family member. That's what he probably transferred that money to a family member because he knew he was going to get caught. Or maybe he was just too cocky and he thought he wasn't going to get caught because Ilhan Omar was going to help him out or something.
Vulnerable Minnesotans desperate to find a home.
And you're sitting there in the cold thinking, okay, any day now. And that any day never comes.
Assad's brother, Anwar, was running another HSS company, also committing fraud, called Liberty Plus, out of the Adow family's Blaine home. When agents raided the property, they found stacks of cash, tens of thousands of dollars hidden under a mattress and in a suitcase beneath the stairs.
How much money did you move overseas?
As part of his plea deal, Assad admitted he used the money he fraudulently billed to buy property in Kenya. Both brothers face 4 to 5 years in prison.
Somalia, and some of the money actually just ended up in the pockets of the Somali scammers, right? Who then took that money and bought multi-million-dollar homes and houses, okay? And that is what this story is about, because you had a local news station that did an investigation on this, and I want to talk about it because I did a video earlier this week about how the Somalis are pushing back, and they're saying that a lot of the outrage that is currently happening in the country is because the American people are jealous, right? We're jealous of the fact that Somalis come here and that they become so successful, right? They buy nice cars, nice houses, nice apartments, and we're just racist and jealous, right? This is what they claim.
Like the racists are actually just jealous of Somalis because of how successful we became in a matter of one generation. And I was watching a lot of videos that are coming up on my For You page where people are saying, how come Somalis have nice cars and we don't? We've been here like how many generations we were born here, our ancestors are from here, but Somalis drive nice cars. This whole thing is just making me realize is jealousy. They're jealous of our success because they expect us like to be at the bottom of the bottom, right? And then we come here one generation, we work hard, we save our money. And Somalis are not the only community that committed fraud, okay? We're not all committing fraud, okay? Every community has bad apples, but they're trying to use that as leverage to hate on us, right? And attack our community. But what it is like when you're an immigrant group and you're Black on top of that and you're African, they hate you to be successful. They hate you to be successful. Now, if we were like European immigrants, like maybe Bosnians who are Muslims, or Russians, and they become successful, nobody would blink an eye because they're white. But the fact that we're brown people from Africa, you know what I mean? It kills them. Because the way we move, we don't move like we're inferior to anybody, right? And it's bothering them. And our name has reached the White House. That's how powerful the Somali community is. Wallahi, I have this thing where if Somalis work together, the only problem Somalis have is like, we need to build our country back. Wallahi billahi, we could have been like we could have been a superpower nation.
Hating on Somalis is not going to get you anywhere. Also, we never gave a fuck. We also will never give a fuck. Majority of us, and I'm talking 90% of us, do have our passports. And
so how does everybody feel about the Somali immigrants who have reportedly set up like fake medical companies and are defrauding the United States government of insane amounts of tax money? Apparently it's so bad that the FBI has made a statement stating that the Somali tax fraud schemes and government schemes are at a level that they could have never anticipated. And they're basically, from what it sounds like, devoting an entire fucking task force just to this bullshit. Okay? So what does this teach us and what does this show us? It shows us that people who come from these broken down hellhole countries do not come here to help America. They come here to rob America and destroy America. If they're not trying to spread Islam and bump Islamic prayers through the loudspeakers, okay, then what they're trying to do is rob hardworking Americans of their money. So when you ask me the question of, do I support open borders? Absolutely not. Close them, completely close them. If you want to come to America, you got to show us why you're worthy. And you being worthy means you're bringing something here. You're either paying us money, a big sum of it, or you're bringing business over here, or you're doing something that's going to benefit the United States. You're not just going to come here because you got an American dream. That dream's not for you. It's for American citizens. You don't get that fucking dream.
Somalians are stealing millions of dollars from American taxpayers, and Nick Shirley just exposed it.
This daycare center, they spelled learning wrong. They've received over $1.9 million this year alone, and they're supposed to have 99 children here.
I don't see it.
99 children. Have you ever seen any children here?
None, not at all.
This year they got 1.9 million. Last year they got 1.5 million of your tax money for 99 children. We just want to know where are the kids.
He exposes two prominent scams happening across Minneapolis. Number one is Somalis opening up fake daycares. There's nobody there. The United States government's giving them millions of dollars. Another thing they do is they open up fake healthcare providers. They get millions of dollars, and nobody is actually providing healthcare for anybody. And you wonder why your country sucks. You're scamming people who did everything for you, allowed you in their country, and then you're ruining their country. You're ruining America. That's what they're doing. Millions of dollars being stolen from you. Why are we paying taxes exactly? These people all need to be arrested, and then they need to be deported, because none of these people were born in America. All these people participating in these scams, they need to be kicked out of America forever. And anybody who participates in scams needs to go to jail. I hope that Donald Trump actually does something about this. The president put everybody on this. All these scams happening across America, because it's probably not just happening in Minnesota amongst the Somalis. It's probably happening amongst a lot of people, a lot of communities. But you know who's not doing that? Probably the Americans, the actual people born here. And this is why we have to be careful do we let in America in the first place? Because this is unacceptable.
Prosecutors say the money went toward luxury homes, high-end cars, jewelry, overseas transfers, and an entire network of shell companies.
Shell companies, shell companies. Does that sound like something a Somali would be able to figure out how to do? Does this look like a mastermind of a billion-dollar scheme? And I know you're like, oh, Leonardo, that's just like one Somalian. They don't all look like that. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They all have that light bulb head. I don't know why they have so much space in their cranium, because they clearly don't have a brain and know how to use it. And you're going to tell me that they can figure out how to do a multi-million, upwards of billion-dollar scheme creating shell companies to hide the money? No. Now, I can believe that they spent it on a bunch of luxury vacations and cars and homes, because they are still, after all, Black.
Here in Minnesota, a local realtor reached out to me to tell me about another way that Somalians are scamming Minnesotans out of their taxpayer dollars. In her community alone, Somalians have bought up over 455 homes. They buy these homes, claiming they're turning these homes into home health care centers. She says the way we know Somalians have bought these homes is because all of a sudden, extremely nice cars start showing up. Let me know your thoughts on this one.
All right, let's be careful so we know TikTok bans exposure really quick. Nick hits a Minneapolis building with 14 healthcare companies funneling $78 million in tax dollars. Asks simple rate questions, and they call the cops. PD shows up protecting the shady ops instead of the journalist.
A list of all of the healthcare companies, loads of them right here. We want healthcare. Yes, we'd like to speak about getting healthcare here. Why can't I get healthcare here? Wait. Warning, you are under video surveillance. No trespassing, security armed. This is the strangest place I've ever been to get healthcare. Just a bunch of different places. Healthcare here, healthcare right here. Another healthcare company right here. There are 3 healthcare companies inside of this building right here in this room of 7C. Now we have another Helping Hands, Home Care LLC, another healthcare company, Present Help right here. We're looking for the best rates of healthcare here inside this building because we have so many options. Who can we talk about getting the best healthcare?
I don't know.
No?
Sorry.
All right. We will not get any healthcare here. David, this is one of the stranger places I've ever been. Literally, healthcare every door you go to, yet nobody will give you a rate. How much money do you think's been funneled through this building?
Every year, I would say 50 to 60 million at least.
And finally, we were accepted into one of the daycare centers, and they actually took down our information to give us a rate. However, when we left, we were then met with the police.
We received a complaint that gentlemen matching your description were in this building harassing the individuals who stay here.
Oh, we're checking out the rates for healthcare because there's 14 healthcare companies inside this building. So,
okay.
No, that's not what he said. He said there's 14 companies here, and he's trying to assume because they're Somali providers, everyone here is fraudulent.
Okay. So
he's here with some kind of like propaganda.
This ties to Minnesota's massive fraud crisis. Shell companies billing millions for nothing. Money vanishing overseas. Keep hiding the theft and silencing whistleblowers. TikTok censors the truth, but lets scam vibes slide. Check out Nick's YouTube for the full video. He's dropping all the receipts. It's time to demand audits and accountability everywhere.
A massive fraud scandal unfolding in Minnesota, turning into a wake-up call on America's broken welfare system. As more details come to light about scams that bilk taxpayers out of what could be more than $1 billion. Yes, they sound like Dr. Evil. It's $1 billion. Welcome to a new hour of America Reports. I'm John Roberts in Washington. That's real money, Sandra.
That is real money. Good to be with you on this Friday, John. I'm Sandra Smith in New York. So one startling example sticking out concerns a program to help recovering addicts find stable housing. Initial estimates for the housing program was for just under $3 million annually. But an indictment shows grifters fraudulently billed Medicaid more than $100 million last year alone. Garrett Tenney is live on this out of Chicago for us. What do you have, Garrett?
Well, Sandra, several of the whistleblowers in Minnesota have told state lawmakers that by the time these investigations are through, they believe the actual size of this fraud, the amount of taxpayer dollars that has been stolen, could be higher than $8 billion. We are already seeing some of that. 2 days into the Small Business Administration's investigation, Secretary Kelly Loeffler says the agency has uncovered at least $1 million in PPP fraud. And the state itself is now looking into the possibility of fraud in another Medicaid program. Minnesota's Department of Human Services is now pausing the issuing of new licenses for disability service providers over concerns of fraud after an explosion in the number of applications for new licenses over the past 5 years, going up 283%, while the number of people needing those services only increased by 25%. Governor Tim Walz, who is up for re-election, is under fire for all of this happening under his watch. But
meanwhile,
Take a can I try it? Yes, try it. Mix it. It's delicious. What is that? This is ambulo. What do you say? Ambulo. mayorka Minneapolis waxa uu caawa ku casheynayaa ambulo waa culture-ka reer koonfur galbeed. Waa kana.
Wait. So we got to continue our coverage of the biggest news story of the week involving the Somali community out in Minneapolis, Minnesota, that has been caught in a estimated $8 billion scandal now, as you guys saw at the beginning of this video, involving our tax dollars, okay, welfare dollars going into the pockets of the Somali community, and then subsequently ending up in the pockets of Al-Shabaab terrorists. And
all right, y'all. Boy, this thing is huge. I think they're going to find way more than what we're seeing on the surface. I really do. Yeah. But you know what was funny? This morning I woke up and I was looking at different videos, and I came across this one Somali woman, and she said she is tired of dating ugly Somali men. She wants to date American men. She said her community make the women date the ugly men. And she said on top of that, they don't even get treated well by these ugly Somali men. I was like, well, damn, just sit there and put it all out there. I was like, wow. Well, I mean, look, they let children marry old ass men. So I guess, hearing that they force their women to date these men they don't even want. You can have those customs. So anyway, they got into a lot of real estate scamming as well. And I think they said the Somalians bought up over 433 real estate properties that they were using as a front for business as part of their scam. So they would buy these homes, park a car out in front of these homes would generally be empty, and they would use that address as a business. And that was another means of getting millions and millions of dollars from the government. So they're sending all these monies from the government to these homes that are really there to scam. That's the only reason why they purchased a home, is to scam money from the government. I think it's way more than 8 billion. I think they are just lowballing it right now. But you know what? Even more, America. You are a country claiming you're filled with high IQs. How come nobody with a high IQ caught this earlier? All you folks claim to have high IQs and you just know it all. How come you let all this money get stolen by Somalians and none of you high IQ people stepped in early when this was going on and put a stop to it? Guess your IQ ain't so high after all. So, y'all, I think this is hilarious. This is definitely a black eye, not only on Somalians, but the American government, too. You know, when it comes down to us, we couldn't steal a nickel without these people going overboard about it. Oh my God, you people, you're criminals. So, yeah, well, I tell you what, after this big scam, I don't want to hear nothing about us being criminals. Okay? Show us the equivalent to people in our community stealing billions of dollars through scamming. Show it to us, because if it was us, it would never have gotten this far. And we all know that. But foreigners, you know, we saw what y'all were doing back when Joe Biden was in office. Remember all those Venezuelan migrants in New York kept shoplifting, breaking in homes. They were doing all kinds of mess. They would go to jail and be out in 24 hours. Okay, they didn't care. They let these immigrants commit all kinds of crime and let them get away with it. Mhm. So I guess it is what it is. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll do this all over again tomorrow. Just a reminder, there is edge growth butter listed again. And by tomorrow, there'll be more hair butter listed as well. So I will see you tomorrow with all new stories. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Shalom, family.